Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to Heart Open World, Day 6, Session 2, the beautiful evening session, which we get to welcome in our gorgeous guest speakers to talk about all things that are being brought through the world at this time that help open our hearts and keep us thriving and vital and healthy and getting to live lives that we love. So, our first very special guest is Gloria Merrick, eco home designer and non toxic materials user. I, I apologize for that. she, hmm, there we go. Gloria Merrick, she's an eco friendly, non toxic home designer based in Austin, Texas. And she also hosts these fabulous dinners that help connect innovators with funding. Beautiful people who want to fund gorgeous projects because there's a lot of that in the world right now. So, Gloria, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure for sure.
So, what was it that got you into eco building?
So when I was 16 or 17, I went on a missions trip to the Dominican and Haiti, and I was serving different villages and schools and just helping out. And along that process, I got really sick. I didn't realize what had happened, but when I returned home, I had really bad inflammation in all of my joints, my knees, to the point where my knees were swelling and bruising all completely on their own. I wasn't able to stand for more than 10 minutes at a time without being in excruciating pain. So I had to stop working. I was working at like a bagel shop at the time. And I just was so confused at what was happening. And when I went to the doctors, they basically told me I had osteoarthritis. I was 21. I was diagnosed with osteoarthritis. And they basically said my only treatment option was steroid injections or knee replacements. So, as you can imagine, as a 21-year-old, I did not want to accept that reality. And I decided to figure out what else could be causing it. I changed my diet. I found a forum of people talking about this thing called parvovirus and just started testing and experimenting with different nutritional um, meals that didn't have, sugar and different things in it that were inflammatory. And so over the course of 2 years, I cut out all grains, sugar, and everything, and I was able to walk and run again for normal periods of time. So I basically reversed everything that had happened. But along that journey, it really started making me think about what else could be in or around my body that might be affecting it. So I started looking at my skincare products, makeup, and then I was also working in my family's construction business. And so naturally, I also started to look into the materials that were being worked on at construction projects. Everyone's wearing masks, everyone's like, all up in this fiberglass insulation. And I had no idea this stuff was harmful. But the more I started looking into it, the more I was like, how the heck are people using and living in these literal toxic materials? It just kind of flabbergasted me. And that's really what started me on my mission to create healthy living spaces, because I believe there are so many things we aren't aware of that we are exposed to on a daily basis that could, be underlying other health conditions that we have going on. And so that was a big part of my interest into what's in our materials, what's in the products, what are we breathing, and what are all the things that we don't know that could be affecting us. And I definitely think, living space is important. It's where we live, it's where we spend all of our time. So I think it's important for us to consider the things that are being put in our living space that we're touching and absorbing through our skin. It's the biggest organ in our body. Women are more at risk for having chemical exposure because of all the different products that we put on our body. And babies have even been found to have over 200 chemicals like already in their bloodstream before they're even born because of the chemicals that we as women are exposed to. So it's become a huge mission of mine to reduce chemical exposure through living spaces.
I love it so much. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for sharing your experience and expertise.
Yeah,
What do you,
definitely.
so obviously the desire is to build from the ground up with a non-toxic home. But what would you advise people who are in the homes that are around?
So basic things, if you're in a, if you're renting, there's really not too much you can do except for, you could get a mold test. That's a big, exposure that is like common in homes that people don't always know that they're exposed to. So if you're renting, checking to make sure there's no mold in the home, you can do that through just your smell. It smells like kind of like wet socks. If you're smelling like wet socks, that's probably mold. You can also get things tested, but in terms of, buying and living and planning, a lot of people may not be in a position to build or buy things from scratch. So, um, the the term for chemicals that we're exposed to that are not very good for our health is VOCs. It stands for volatile organic compounds. And so a lot of the off-gassing of these things happens in the first few years. They can off-gas for the entire lifetime. That's why when it's really hot in, say, Texas or Vegas, you get air like bad quality air exposure warnings. That's because the concrete is off-gassing because there's solvents and plastics and things that are used to glue stuff together. So anything that is like a liquid that turns into a solid is very likely to have chemicals in it. So if you're using products like paint or glues or even like flooring and stuff like that, you want to look out for stuff that is manufactured and isn't natural because it's more than likely going to have VOCs in it. But you can get things like no VOC paint. You can, use natural flooring instead of vinyl, for example. Anything that's like plastic or engineered for the most part that looks kind of plastic is going to have a lot of those toxic chemicals. So I would say avoid anything that is going to off-gas, the toxic VOCs. And then plan for if this is something that you want to incorporate into your future, then when you're going into a house, if you're buying a traditional house, you could start by painting it with no VOC paints. Or, building from the ground up obviously would be the best. That's very expensive, which is why I specialize in small spaces because it's a lot more attainable for people that want a faster solution. I also think life is more about experiences and quality of life than it is stuff. So if you're on that path, then definitely building a tiny home from scratch with eco-friendly, non-toxic materials would be probably the best solution to get started. But there's definitely a lot of options out there. You have a lot of natural building products. The only downside with a lot of the natural building projects is you have to pay cash for them, which not a lot of people have cash outright to pay for these things. So I feel like we're in a really unique part of the market where we have everything that's coming in to solve the solutions, but then we have what's here right now. And so for me, I really believe that eco-friendly, non-toxic tiny spaces is probably like the best first step for anyone wanting to get started or not, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars cash out of pocket.
What are your spaces typically run? Because you do custom tiny spaces. And also,
Mhm.
I'm wondering, do you have like some sort of preset packaging or is it like custom everything?
Yeah, I actually am about to relaunch all of my pre-made packages. So I have pre-designed vans, buses, and tiny houses with curated shopping lists, basic materials that you're going to need. So I'm about to relaunch all of those. So if you're watching this now or later, keep on the lookout for that. You can subscribe to my website, www.lavendermoonspaces.com for all that stuff coming out. And then I also do custom. So those packages start at about 4K for a custom design. And what that allows you to do is create your own complete aesthetic and vibe in whatever space you want. And then from there, you could build it out yourself and have a plan, that you can follow and not have to guesswork. Or you could give that to a builder and have them build it out for you. Or you could take it to a specialized builder and have them build out these plans for you. The difference between like my plans and others is that I specialize in eco-friendly and non-toxic materials, which 95% of the market doesn't do. So those are a couple of the options I have right now. I also have partnerships with other home builders, so I can help with everything from the design, whether it's, a pre-made design you want to add on your own customized shopping list for, or if you want to have a complete custom package with all the materials and design interior fixated the way you want, or if you want to have it built out, I can manage any range of wherever you're at in the market.
Beautiful. What a gorgeous gift you're bringing through humanity.
Thank
So,
you.
do you have a large vision that you're growing into with this?
Definitely. My 10-year vision is to be the leading brand in eco-friendly tiny homes. So I really, yeah, want to stand for something that I believe people need and deserve. I think it's wrong that we're living in spaces that we don't know are harming us. So I feel like I want to stand for the truth and the integrity and the materials and the off-gassing that's happening because um, unfortunately especially in the tiny space, there isn't any kind of certification for what makes something green or eco-friendly. And a lot of you already may know a lot about the eco-friendly green space. It's very green washed. Like a lot of people, they do 10% of something green, like use recycled materials, and that could be recycled plastics, which isn't good for your health either. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the marketing of the green and sustainable market that is not completely transparent and it's just being used to benefit the companies. But I really want to benefit the people. I don't think that we should be sold spaces that are harming us. So it's really a big part of my vision to make sure that the integrity of the materials and not only that they're eco-friendly, because that's one thing, but also that they're non-toxic. So eco-friendly doesn't mean non-toxic. Sustainable doesn't mean non-toxic. So even though people may think those all go together, unfortunately they don't. So yeah, I think that's the big vision, is really making sure people have a space that's truly healthy for them, because you can't enjoy your life if you don't have your health. So yeah, it's a big part of the vision.
Okay, everyone, take a second and just inhale and breathe and see Gloria spearheading this industry. We all feel it. I know that. If you're watching this, you have chills. Like, this woman is bringing massive, wonderful things into the world. And I just want to enjoy that feeling of seeing you so successful and doing this. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And another wonderful, phenomenal thing that you're doing in the world is you're helping other people receive funding. You host these dinners in Austin, Texas, and I would love for you to tell us about them right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love bringing people together. I love cooking. I love hosting. So it's become kind of this collection of all of those things. I just love bringing together innovative minds who are creating tangible, real change in the world. And I think one of the biggest ways on my heart that we can do that is through living spaces, through development projects. And I think there's a lot of other ways we can do it, but my niche is obviously in that space. So that's what birthed these investor dinners. And it really just started out with a group of people I was surrounded by who all have these incredible regenerative or sustainable eco village projects. And I was like, these need to be funded. Like, why are these not being funded? We all need to sit around the table and just start sharing resources, start showing each other our visions and our pitch decks and see what happens, and start inviting investors to these things. So I just started asking everyone if they would be down. I put a date. I hired one of my she's like a vegan, hyper nutritionalist chef, but she also does infusions and all these different incredible foods. Just like 5-star level food. And I'm like, okay, let's just get everyone in the room, put some good food together and start pitching and start inviting people and see what happens. So I've done 2 dinners so far and it's been absolutely incredible. Basically, we get together, there's a social aspect at the beginning. We have investors and founders that all get to mingle intimately at the dinner table, which is so special. It's completely different than showing up to a social because you're sitting next to someone and you're eating food, which are 2 very intimate things. So it absolutely sparks just like deeper conversation. And I didn't really know what to expect my first time, it's like when you have this vision, you don't know how it's actually going to work in practicality. But when I found myself sitting next to these investors and these other founders, and we're all just like sharing, the vibe just was so high, and everyone was just cheering each other on every single vision and looking for ways to support each other and eating incredible food. So it was just a 5-star experience in and of itself, organic, whatever diet thing that anyone wants, we could accommodate. So just so incredible. And then right after that, we had a social. So, we're already buzzing after that experience. And then we just bring in everyone else that is in the space, innovating or wanting to communicate something about their vision they're looking for support for. So I think the difference of this versus any other party or event I've thrown, which I've done all different types of things, is that it feels so deeply intentional, and the conversations and the connections that come out of it are so high level. And so it's really just inspired me to put my energy into things that really bring together connections that are going to make real change in the world, versus just going to parties and having fun. So I really enjoyed creating intentional experiences. I'm not saying that we can't party and have fun. That's all great and fine too. But I like deep conversations. I'm just like the person that's always like, let's just go there, right away. So I think these dinners and the social aspect and talking about the change we want to create is a great way to get into the deeper aspects of like, why are we here? What are we doing to serve the world?
Absolutely. And so the big question on my heart is, what would you ask, or what would you advise the people who hear you say this and are like, I want to do that in my city? How would you advise them to find the people who want to support the projects? And do you have a system set up that you're going to like guide people in?
I've definitely considered doing like a tour if that is called for. Like, I'm just serving where the demand is. So if you want to do this in your city and you feel like you have a group and you want something to be curated, let's talk about it. I'm here to help. So if there's something that inspires you about this, I'd be happy to help. But if you feel like going for it, then go for it. All you need is just some people that are needing help and a space. And a chef, and some connections. So I just started getting plugged into the local investor networks here, and that's where I promoted it. And then, I already had, I would say, like, start with where you're already at, like who is in your direct atmosphere that all kind of have a similar need, and how can you serve them with a dinner?
Glorious. No, no pun intended, but all meaning meant. All right. Is there any last questions I can ask for the highest love here? What do you plan on doing with your music? If you don't know, Gloria makes beautiful music.
That is a great question. I don't know. It is in God's hands right now. I am like, I'm actually, I don't have a plan right now, which is so not me. I spent basically 2 solid years like with a plan, working on it, pushing it all out there, and then I just felt God really calling me to do this work right now. So I've been really focused on this, but I also feel like sometimes I over sprint. So, I'm kind of finding that balance right now and creating more space for music, which has really been alive in the sound healing space. I'm working on a meditation track that has biblical affirmations because I've been really getting into the Bible lately. So I'm working on something like that. And I have a lot of stuff that I've written that is just sitting there, and I'm not quite sure what wants to happen with it. So I'm either like going to reimagine everything, like write new lyrics and just like breathe new life into it, or just completely start from scratch. So I do have a concept for an album, and I'm not sure exactly what the time frame is. The artist journey is very unique. It's some people have a journey where it's like you get inspired and then you're on that path like full time all the time. And I just am a multi-passionate person. So I just follow where spirit leads me. And this is really requiring a lot of my attention right now. But I'm in the experiment phase. Let's just say that right now. I'm in a lot of experiment phase of what wants to happen next and calling in a new producer, like a local producer I could work with here to help me just like bring through a lot of the new story that's happened over the last couple of years.
I love that. Congratulations. That's phenomenal. That's so exciting.
Thank
Like,
you.
I love it. I love hearing about artists bringing their everything through. Um, yeah, I'm feeling complete on any questions, but I would love to say if you have anything else that you really want to bring up, now is the time.
I mean, the last thing I would always say is follow your heart and follow your passion and like never give up on your dreams. I know it sounds cheesy, but no matter how many times you fail, it's never a failure if you stop. So I would just say whatever God has put on your heart is your unique purpose and mission. So go for it. And it may not look the way that you thought it would look. So allow it to go through the changes and the phases and give yourself the time and space to experiment when that's called for, and then focus when it's called for. Um, and yeah, other than that, on a personal note, if you have any desire to create a smaller sustainable space with me, I would love to offer anyone here $1,000 off any one of my design packages. So just send me a message and let me know you are here, and I'd be happy to honor that and support you all in activating and bringing your tangible living space dreams to life.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Gloria, for being here. This was so wonderful. I know everyone was popping off in the chat if you haven't seen it, but everyone is loving what you're doing. And I mean, you know the impact that you know what this means to the world. So
It's amazing to get the feedback and the affirmation. So thanks y'all for being here and for listening to me and being you. So appreciate y'all.
thank you. Wow. Yeah. When I was putting this event together, I really so strongly felt earth connection and desiring to showcase bringing in the wellness of the earth. So we had a permaculture speaker on Tuesday and speakers on building community gardens. And now today we have the eco design and non-toxic materials. And this is what we with our intelligence get to evolve into with our world. We've recognized systems that don't work, recognized shortcuts and doing things to have it be cheaper and boxy or whatever the industrial revolution uh, impetus was. And now we get to choose from the point of what is holistically beneficial for all beings on this planet. And so I just thank you, Gloria. I applaud you for everything you're doing. And now it's time to bring up our next two wonderful, beautiful, phenomenal speakers. Everybody, please welcome to the stage Jessie Dammy and Ashley Hughes. To spotlight you guys in
It took me a minute, but I'm unmuted.
Where'd you go? Hold on. Pin. Okay, there we go. We got it. We got it.
Yay.
Welcome, beautiful creators.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're excited to be here. This is exciting. I'm excited. And this is nerve-wracking and I'm nervous. But I'm
Also,
excited
same.
too.
Thank you for naming that in the space. I appreciate you saying that. I love the honesty. Yeah.
Have to call it out.
Well, you guys are, I love it because like you guys are constantly creating, you're constantly posting and showing your faces and speaking and going live on TikTok. And I invite you to speak for 25 minutes and it's like longer form content. With
I know
other
it makes no sense.
hey, the nervous system reads how it does. And I would just welcome here and I applaud you guys and I acknowledge that like thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes to this. And thank you for, you know, just your presence. So Ashley and Jessie are both phenomenal creators who are very well known on TikTok for motivating people into action. Jessie is creator motivator, and she has a community called Confident Creator, which I love because I've also used Confident Creator on workshops, and
Yeah.
it's like so resonant with everything that you say. And Ashley has these phenomenal bestie weekends that she hosts where women who've been through spiritual awakenings, who desire community and connection, come together. They meet up at an Airbnb and they share stories and they cook together and they have phenomenal fun together. So, my beautiful darlings, let's get into some questions. The first question. So, Ashley, a large part of your story is that in 2021 or 2020, you had a
2021.
You had a spiritual awakening,
Mm.
and that led you through this whole process of changing different things in your life, where you were working, what you were doing, the people you were connecting with. And I love that you took that to TikTok to build community.
Mm.
So what I would love to hear you talk about is just some of that process, that movement, that fire that was in you that said, I need to share this with people. I need people to come together on this.
Yeah, no, TikTok has been absolutely incredible. And that's where I met you. And it's been such an amazing journey. But yeah, so October 2021, I was on a girls' trip, hanging out with my two very best friends, and I awoken into higher consciousness. And I know for people that don't get that, they don't get that. But people that do very much do. And my whole life changed. It's like I didn't know what I experienced at the time. I didn't know if it was psychosis. I didn't know what I was experiencing, but I went on a hunt for the next couple of years to figure out what it was. And I kept having this nudge deep inside that I needed to get to TikTok and I needed to tell my story. I needed to talk about what I went through because I knew I didn't understand it, but I knew the impact of it. I knew what it was without knowing. I knew that I had a massive role here to fill, to talk about what I had been through and walk other people through it as they were going to experience it the same way I did, which was like, oh my gosh, because I was just this, average 30-something-year-old mother of two working a 9 to 5. And all of a sudden it was like, there's a whole other aspect to you that you don't even know about. There is something so much deeper and so incredible on this earth that you have access to that you didn't know about, but you also kind of did know about. Because I've always known. I used to always say, there's something right here where I can see it, I can feel it, but I didn't know what it was. So yeah, woken to what I would say higher consciousness, this universal one love that ran through my body. I mean, it's a feeling that if you know, I don't know how many you guys have experienced that feeling, that rush through your body. But it led me to TikTok, and it led me to Jessie. And it's been a whole incredible thing. I didn't want to do it at the time when I was feeling the nudge to get on TikTok and share my story. I was about 70 pounds heavier. I was not a fan of myself. I didn't like the way I looked. I've always struggled with self-confidence and all of those things. But there was this internal nudge that was like, you got to get on and do it anyway. And so I would make videos and I'd throw my phone across the room and feel like I didn't throw up because I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was this deep call within me that I had to show up and I had to tell people what I was going through because there were others that were just like me out there looking for anybody who got it. And that's really kind of what drove me on TikTok.
I love that. Thank you for listening to your heart. That,
yeah,
like Gloria was just saying, when something is put on your heart and you're like, I have to share, I have to do this. And like to have that lead into something so beautiful as the bestie weekends, which you've done several of them now at this point.
Well, so I've held one myself that I co-hosted with Jessie. I brought her in from Boston and she co-hosted with me, and Amber was there because I met Amber on TikTok and we felt this deep connection. And when I announced that I was going to do this, she's like, I have to be there. And I have been on several others that I haven't hosted with other women, but I've hosted the one and I've got a lot that we're planning coming forward and I'm really excited. But something that's really important to me is that this is a new kind of space where this is for a soft place to land for people that are expanding. Because when you start expanding your consciousness, everything can feel like it's crumbling because you're aware of so much and nothing makes sense. And am I real? And is anybody here? Right? You can walk through all of these things. And I, as just a wife and a mom that was just doing the thing and living my life and was hit with this spontaneous awakening, I now know how jarring it can be to the system and to the world around you. So as I created these bestie weekends, it's really just been a safe space at an Airbnb to come and be yourself and be around women who get it and who can talk about the deep things that you're talking to. I know that Gloria was talking about, she just wants to get deep. And I'm the same. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. Tell me all your childhood trauma. Like, let's dive into what makes you you. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that all of us long so deeply to be heard and seen, because most of us growing up weren't seen. We tried not to be seen because being seen wasn't safe, I think, for so many of us, because we were all born into, we all know, we know how it goes. And so I think that this is a really amazing space to let people feel seen and heard, and let it still be fun and like a grown-up sleepover, that girly sleepover that you longed for as a child. But now we can do it as this new community, and we can bring our communities together, because so many women that are really magnetized to this are also building their own communities. And this is going to be a space where we can come together. I miss sleepovers. I saw, yeah, right? Like sleepovers do not have to die because we're old. We did not all turn 30. I don't know how old you guys are. I did not turn 30 and then decide that I'm not having sleepovers. It's time for us to remember who we are. And there's such a childlike wonder to that. And to get together with a group of women and just be able to be yourself, your whole spiritual, all of you self, is just, it's incredible. And so, yeah, it's been amazing.
So beautiful, so glorious. As you were speaking, you were describing your experience with spiritual awakening. I remembered kind of an opposite experience that I had so I had my first awakening when I was very, very young. I was 5 years old. And so I was experiencing this. When I told my parents about it when I was younger, they were like, okay, we know, but don't tell anybody because they'll think you're crazy. So then I spent like 20 years not really talking about it, and like coming home from school and practicing with my psychic abilities and tuning in and like everything. And then when I was my late 20s, I had an experience where I was having issues connecting and relating to people because it had been so long since I hadn't had that consciousness, that I asked. And I was like, oh, I really want to know what that's like. And then a couple of days after I asked that, I had an experience where it was like everything turned off. And then all of a sudden I couldn't sense outside of my body. I couldn't feel the field. I felt it was just me. And I went through this experience of like, have I been crazy the whole time? What is happening? So it was like, so hearing you say, you were like, am I going through psychosis? Am I going crazy? If the opposite happens to you, where you're feeling everything and so broadly, and then suddenly it's mute, that's so scary.
So yeah. And I love this because, and this is what bestie weekends are for, because it's time for us to tell our stories, because we all have experienced such different things in different ways. But when we talk about it, and I love to hear people's awakening stories. Yours is like one of my favorites because I've never met anybody else that awoken so small. And I just think it's so cool to be able to sit and share these kind of things. But yeah, the whole psychosis and feeling crazy in whatever way that it happens is very real. And if you don't have people to lean on, that can be a hard thing to walk through.
Yeah. My experience with, and I'm sure Amber might touch on this later, a lot of times when people are taught that they're crazy, it's because it's psychic energy that hasn't been taught to direct in a specific way. The same thing with like ADHD and CPTSD is like, that's nervous system, that's psychic energy that's hasn't been put through the process of returning to a homeostasis. So it's like when we experience these things, because we've been taught the label of crazy, it often has us discount and not seek help. And also then it's like, if we do seek help, what is for so long, the scary thing, like when I was little, the whole thing, they were like, they're going to lock you up in a mental institution. And then they were like, if anyone finds out about your abilities, they're going to dissect you. So that was, what my parents' approach was
trauma.
to keep me safe. Yeah, but now, hey, I'm almost 33 and I'm talking about it and I'm holding this whole event. So, we move through things, and I'm launching a psychic development course. So like, we get through it. Yeah. So I just love that this is how you have gotten to this point. It's just simply like being an adult and awakening, and like knowing and taking your time to go through it. I think that's something too, is that sometimes people wake up as adults and want to immediately get into it. And it can take time to integrate. It takes time to integrate. It takes time to recognize the programming that's happening. It takes time to sort through and like really learn like how feelings feel. And that brings me to Jessie, my first question for you. Thank you for I love watching you rock there. So
I'm
fun
the
to
ADD
hear.
one that like can't sit still. So
I get it. So Jessie, part of your drive is having people create and like move themselves through the cringe and the feelings that might suppress them from expressing their voices. So I'm curious as to like, what was it? Was there a turning point moment, or was it just like lots of bricks falling into place Tetris style until like something cleared and you were like, I'm going?
Yes, so it was building for such a long time. When I think about it, like I'm like, oh yeah, but there was an event before that. Oh, and there was that one before that. So like this has been building gradually for so long. But part of where like working through energy and how we feel about ourselves, and then I listen to a lot of Amanda Francis and talking about limiting beliefs, and then like what drives us to do what we do. And I've always questioned like, why do we have to go to school from 0 to 18 for that many hours a day? Why do we have to just sit there? Why do I have to work a 9 to 5? Why do I have to bring my child to this daycare provider who I don't know to raise, where I go, like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. It doesn't feel right for me. It's never felt right to me. And I've always had people in my ear being like, get over it. That's the way that it is. You just have to accept it and move on. This is how everybody lives life. And I was like, I don't want to. Well, you have to, but I don't want to. So I was really determined to like figure out how can I do this? And social media has been huge. Like since it's come out, I know that there's like a stigma around social media and how bad it can be, but it's everything has the meaning that we give it. So if you are talking about how bad social media is, you're going to find all the reasons that it's bad. And it is in some areas. But over here where we all hang out, this is a beautiful space, right? Like where I've met so many amazing people that live across. I have some people that I call my best friends that I share so much with that I've never actually met in real life. And I get to give out messages that people write to me that are like, okay, well, you just changed my life, or this unlocked a cheat code for me, or I, whatever, manifested getting on a podcast with you, something like that. And it takes a lot to step on social media because it's scary. It's so scary. People are mean. Your first viral video will have your whole nervous system going crazy because there's going to be haters and there's going to be supporters, and then they're going to fight with each other, and you're going to be like, well, I want to clap back too. And then this person doesn't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know. And it can make you go crazy, right? So I think there's so many reasons. Plus there's all the other reasons, like I don't know how to use technology. I'm not young enough. I have wrinkles right here and right here. Oh, my neck skin's flat. Oh, I'm too whatever. I weigh too much. I weigh too little. I'm not cute enough. That person is already doing what I'm doing. So why would I hop on? There's just limiting beliefs everywhere. But I have found that leaning into what makes you happy, the gifts that were on your heart to give, the thing that's in the back of your mind that you think about all the time or want to do all the time when you have this little tiny moment, like that's the thing that you want to do. And I just feel like there's so many limiting beliefs that can hold people back. But if you just share your gifts and you can get over those humps of those limiting beliefs, no matter how high the limiting belief wall is, it's opportunity, it's magic. You're reaching people, you're helping people. Your energy behind doing something that your whole heart and soul is behind emanates. It's a frequency that will connect with other people, and then they'll want to do the same. And just imagine a world where everybody every day woke up, I want to follow my passion today. I'm going to do what I actually truly love to do today, what brings me joy, what I know brings me joy. I know that that's not always attainable for everybody, but what if it was? What if it was? Imagine how differently the energy of the world would be if everybody just got to wake up and do whatever made them happy. So my short story long is I really decided to like focus on getting people that are like, I will overhear a conversation of someone like, oh, I just got certified for bar and I want to try to do house parties and blah, blah. And I'm like, wait, oh, sorry. I was just listening into your conversation and you need to get online. You need to share what you love. That's how people find you, right? Oh, this person over here does this. I just want people to like, you can do it. There's no excuse as to why you shouldn't or why you can't. And if there is, let's work through it because you need to give your gifts to the world. That's what we came here to do, find it and give it. And social media has made that so easily accessible for so many people, which I think is awesome.
I love that.
Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question? You're like, no.
Yes, probably.
Yes.
I enjoyed everything you said. I will say.
Yes.
Um,
I
but
forget.
like it raised my next question, which is, you mentioned your nervous system going crazy the first time you have a post go viral. And I would love to hear you share about that, and just like, what was that like for you? And how did you regulate your nervous system from that? And like, what did you like? How many days did that? Just tell me the details.
It's happened. So what's funny is I've had like a bunch of TikToks, but I don't know why I opened this specific one, the Jessie DME one. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to lean into manifestation. This is what I love to do. I don't care. I'm going to do my affirmation rants because those help me. And I'm going to say these things. So those are my first posts that would go viral. Actually, my very first post to go viral was like me. It was a thought about like parenting and parenting my oldest child, and how I was young when I had her and I didn't know all the things that I knew in between her and my son, which was, they're almost 6 years apart. And I feel bad when I think of the mom that she got versus the mom that he got. And that was like a thing that was on my heart. And I posted it, that went viral. I think I got like 15,000 followers just from that one post, but the rest of them were all my like relatable things. I feel like the most relatable things, right? The most authentic things of me being like, money loves me, money's obsessed with me, like affirmation rants, like Amanda Francis does, but also like Abraham Hicks does. But there were certain posts like that people were, that's toxic positivity. Like, just not super negative things, but like there were things that I wanted to be like, well, no, but it doesn't have to be, but that's a whole other explanation. There were some other like just mean things in there, like, don't brush your don't brush your hair like that. Cause in the video I was like brushing my hair. And I wanted so badly to be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And something in me was like, just breathe through this and just wait. Like, they don't know you, you know you. Like, just because they say it doesn't mean that it's true. And if they're saying something that does trigger something in here, why? Why? Like, it has to hit a tune of true for me in my mean brain, on that side of my mean brain, right? So I just waited it out, and I'm like, okay, just don't look at it. I'm out of mind, out of, what is it called? Mind
Out
over,
of sight, out of mind.
out of sight, out of mind. Thank you. Mind over matter, whatever it's called. Thank you. Out of sight, out of mind. And then when I went back, it was like the supporters were in there clapping back for me. So I was like, okay, like, let's focus on them. Like, let's focus on, I didn't even have to say anything. Like, people are going to hate you no matter what. People can find something to not like you for, whether it's something that you say, something that you're wearing, how you look, it doesn't matter. They're going to find something to complain about, but it's the supporters, the ones that are there, like, they see you and they're the ones that matter, and they're the ones that should get your attention. So that's my advice. Once the post goes viral, like, don't look at it. Just don't look at it. And then if you do want to look at it, look at the people who are supporting you in there. But the hate comments you'll always have supporters in there backing you up. But also too, like the whole blue hair analogy, like if someone came up to you and they were like, I hate your stupid blue hair. And you're like, but what? Like, it doesn't even land, because you don't have blue hair and you know you don't have blue hair. So if someone says you suck, you're ugly, you're fat, like whatever, message is stupid, you know that it's not. So what they're saying is like, oh, I wonder what's wrong with them. Like, they must not, it's like, it has nothing to do with you, literally.
Absolutely.
It's not like super easy to do, but like, you can get through it. Just keep telling yourself, like, I know this. I know, I believe in what I just posted. It was the purpose and the intention behind it was this, and they don't get it, and that's okay. I get it. And so do these people.
I love what you said about the supporters. Like, you didn't have to do anything. It's already taken care of. And also, something I like to say is that love always loves. Love is always love. Like, resonance of love will always be love. So anyone that is in a distortion, in a pain being, and thus is commenting from pain, like that's something, it's like, oh, they're telling on themselves. They're saying this is where I am right now. Ashley, I'm wondering, well, if you want to share your experience with going viral as well, like, as we're encouraging creators to get out there more, like, tell me about it.
Yeah. So yeah, Jessie and I are really passionate. So Jessie and I found each other on TikTok, which was incredible. It was when she was doing those big affirmation rants. I was just barely getting on. I had just started posting and I saw her stuff and I was like, I love this girl. So I commenting on her things and she started commenting back on my stuff. And I was like, oh, we're going to be friends. And I ended up reaching out to her and I messaged her and I said, hi, I think we're supposed to be friends. And what was it? A month or two later, we were trying to remember exactly. She was like, feeling like she needed to go to Costa Rica. This is a little side tangent, but she needed to go to Costa Rica on this women's trip. This girl's, it's a soul shift retreat in Costa Rica. And we had known each other maybe for 2 weeks, I think. I don't think it was very long. And because I messaged her, I was like, we have to be friends. Here's my phone number. Text me if you don't think I'm a creep. And she did. And it was weeks later, we put out a GoFundMe on our TikToks and our followers sent us both to Costa Rica. And we met in person in Costa Rica for the first time after only knowing each other for a couple of months on TikTok. And this is it. This is right. Like she got up the courage to just say, no, I'm going to go do my affirmation rants. I got the courage to be like, all right, I guess I'm going to talk about this awakening. People are going to think I'm on drugs, but I'm going to do it anyway. And we found each other. Right. And like the community that the two of us, I feel like have built together has just been massive and incredible, but it didn't come without all of those feelings and that nervous system work because I was talking a lot about my awakening and what I had experienced. And I would have videos go viral, and I would have thousands of amazing comments of you're doing it, you're awake, you're walking through this, right? And then I'd have people that say she's the devil, she's working with all of these terrible things, don't watch her, like she doesn't love Jesus. That was like the one thing that would come to me a lot. And I grew up in Utah, which is predominantly a religious LDS, the Mormon state, as a non-religious child who had walked through all kinds of religious trauma. So those comments would literally make me feel like I wanted to give it all away. I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to throw up. Like I said, I chucked my phone and it was hard, but there was a calling deep in my soul. Like Gloria again said, when you've got that calling, when you have a message that needs to come out, I had no choice but to put that phone up and push that button and record it. But then I got a lot of mostly love. I didn't get a lot of hate, but that hate, when you're a sensitive person who loves everybody, who's just trying to share their story and find their people, and you have people that come in that say, she's the devil, take her kids away, all of these things, that can freaking rock you. And now I know, I'm like Jess said, something's wrong with that guy. I don't think he's okay, right? Like when something like that happens, I'm like, he's okay. He's got some work to do, but we're going to be okay. I'm no longer worried about it because I know my hair's not blue. But for a really long time, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I did have blue hair and maybe they were seeing something that I wasn't seeing. See, I'm going to get emotional because it did. It was hard. There was a lot of times it was really hard, but like, I've met all of you guys because the internet is beautiful and because I got brave and because I finally just decided to conquer the cringe and freaking do it anyway. And I had family that reached out to my husband that said, we found her TikTok. Is she on drugs? Like, what's going on? So it was very real for me. Jessie was a huge supporter and got me through it because she would tell me, like, it doesn't matter, Ashley. You know what your message is. You know what your intention is. And so I feel like that's the thing is we're super passionate about getting women into their passions. What do they want to do? What lights their soul on fire? Let's get women out of these 9-to-5s that they don't like, right? Like, let's get them into things that feel good for them. Let's bring them abundance because I don't think a lot of women think they're worthy of abundance. Women haven't been in the history of, and so it's time we feel really good about that. And we want people online sharing themselves because there are too many of us spread too far across this world, this country to not be starting to connect. So I think the internet's amazing. I love it so much, but it doesn't come without some nervous system stuff. I've had to do a lot of work to sustain, you start to grow followers and all of a sudden you feel like you're like, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. And I've met amazing people along the way and I'm so grateful for it. And now I'm very passionate about helping people see that you can get online and the opportunities that will come will be amazing, but we got to do some regulation work. We got to love ourselves because otherwise you think your hair is blue and it's not a good time.
You think your hair is blue. Yeah, absolutely. And that is, I mean, we're programmed really to seek safety, to divert to what is so safe for us. And like, also, Ashley, thank you so much for expressing so emotionally and letting the tears flow. And like, I love how often you cry in your TikToks.
I'm always crying. If I'm not crying, be concerned. You're like, something's wrong. She's not crying.
One of the most treasured messages I have from you is you, like, after you listen to my song and you were just sobbing, and it just like meant the world to me that, like, because I put that song out there from, like, I had been in a very dark place, and I remembered like, oh, I healed my body, I can get out of this again. And then I wrote that song, and then like it was just my hope to guide other people through it. And like, so hearing the impact that it has, always like, I treasure that.
Yes, that song. I remember where I was driving and I was listening to it, and it was like my little teenage version of myself, because it's an inner self-love journey. Getting online, Jess, wouldn't you agree that truly like you have to love yourself? Because like you said, people will hate you for no reason just because you brushed your hair the wrong way. And if you don't love yourself, it can be hard. And that song, Love I Stay With, I listened to it and it's like my whole body lit up, and it was like my teenage self, like remembering that there's a me in there, you know, there's these little versions of us in there that come with us. And we all, I'm going to cry again. We all just want to be loved. We want to be seen. And I just feel like it's so cool that we're finding people that see us and love us for who we are with our big open hearts, because we all have big open hearts. And that's not really accepted in this world yet, but it will be. And that's what we're all here to do. So thank you for saying that, because I held my tears back for a lot of years. And finally, in the last couple of years, I was like, you know what? Crying is my superpower. I feel really deeply. And so thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I received that.
I love it. Crying is flow. It's letting it all flow. Yeah, I was also raised in a thing where it was like, don't cry. And so now I cry all the time. I always did though, but you know, now I don't feel shame.
Right.
Now I'm just like openly crying.
Yes. Yes.
Can
I answer your
confirm.
question? I hope I did. I'm sorry if I did.
What?
Can I answer your question? I hope
Yeah.
I got there eventually. Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's beautiful. Okay, so Jessie, what would you advise the new creators out there, like day one, getting started, turning their camera on? Deep breath.
So because I would have to advise them on what makes me the most confident, which I always tell anyone who's starting out, because they're almost always one of the limiting beliefs that stops them in their tracks before they even start is, I don't know how I'm going to get all the content out. Like, how am I going to, what if I run out of content? What if I run out of content? So what I usually say is make the content first, batch like as much as you possibly can first, and then open your account, and then you can post one a day or one every other day or however you want, because in that time, the momentum that you're going to get, you can respond to comments now, you can duet and stitch. So going in with a plan just to ease that part of the limiting belief, part of your nervous system that might be going a little haywire, like, well, I don't know what to post and what if I run out of stuff, and having a plan of how to move forward, right? What was the question? Now I'm like forgetting. Before you press play. Oh, be yourself, like be as authentically you, and show up the way that you plan to and want to and enjoy showing up every day. Because if you come on day one and you're not you, and you drop the facade eventually, because it's, you know, showing up not authentically takes work, right? And if I try to work smarter, not harder. So if I'm putting on like a show, I'm like, oh shit, I got to come up like that the next time and then the next time. And you see my TikToks, I come on like straight out of bed, like my eyebrows are all messed up. One of my eyelashes is pasted because I slept with my mascara on. Like, I show up sometimes I'm doing my hair. Sometimes my hair is not done. Sometimes my hair looks great. You know, like I show up as I am that moment, because that's the easiest for me. So I guess would be like batch content, if that's one of your limiting beliefs. And come as you are. And if you feel like as you are, because I've worked with people who are like, I can't, I need a filter. And I'm like, well, find the filter that you love then. Like, if you're going to wear that filter, whatever makes you feel good, right? Or work on loving yourself exactly as you are, because there's people that you're supposed to reach that you might not know yet. And they see you with however you look naturally, they're going to feel more confident to move on to. I hope that helped. I hope that was your
Help
answer.
me. I mean, I'm sure, I think people in the chat were saying, well, people in the chat have been saying things the whole time, if you guys haven't seen it. Thank you both so much. Is there anything else that's really juicy and ripe on your hearts to communicate in the last couple minutes we have together?
For
What do
me,
you
I would
think?
just say, I think that this is happening. This is really happening. There's a big shift. I mean, we know that, right? There's a big shift right now. And if you feel something in your heart, if you feel the call, please answer it, because over and over, even when it makes no sense, I have answered the call over and over for the last 2 years when it makes absolutely no sense. And it's just like, here we all are, you know, and Jessie and I are going to be doing bestie weekends. There are no shortage of those coming up. We're really excited. I would love to go down to Houston and see Amber. I'm actually planning a Galentine's event in Galveston that Amber I haven't even told you about. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, just like everybody keep doing what you're doing. Follow your heart, follow your soul. Because when I got the vision of bestie weekends and what this was going to be, I was like, me? Like, there's no way. And now there's no way you could stop me. So you just have to be all in. You just have to go all in, even when it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that you just said that, because I was having a thought about like something that keeps coming to me to do. And I was like, so I'm just going to do it.
Just do it, girl.
I was already gonna just do it, but now I'm really just gonna do it.
Yep. Surrender. You just got to go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Was there something that you wanted to say, Jessie?
If anybody needs any content ideas, let's get on a call. I can talk to you for 5 minutes and have so many ideas for you. So
she's the
happy to
content
help.
queen. In 2 seconds, she'll have 15 ideas for you.
That's phenomenal. Thank you for the beautiful offer. And you have you gave us your
the Confident Creator Community. Yep, that's a free one. So I haven't been able to go on in the last couple weeks, but because I'm trying to help people with their limiting beliefs on getting online, one of the big ones is they don't know how to edit their videos. So I try to show behind the scenes of me editing videos and how easy it can be and how easy you can make it. So it doesn't have to be crazy, at least when you start out. But that's free and you can get on there, and I post all the replays, and anytime I'm going to do anything else fancy, maybe in the future, you guys will know first.
You're not trying, you're doing.
Yes. That was trying. It'll happen eventually.
You're doing great. You're showing up all the time, and like everything you inspire people with is so beautiful. Like, people adore you. People, both of you, all of you, everyone here is adored. So loved. All right. So where can everyone find you?
I'm on TikTok mostly. So Ariel just put it in the chat, but that's Jessie Dammy is my TikTok.
Yep, and then I'm on TikTok too, Ashley YE333. And then I just bought bestieweekends.com, so that will be coming soon. It's not ready, but you can go to bestieweekends.com and subscribe for future updates. But I'm on TikTok always, all the time. So there you go.
Congratulations on the
Thank you.
website.
I know. I know. I think you sent me a girl that does the website, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay. So I also want to mention, because Gloria had mentioned her website is lavendermoonspaces.com. And I just wanted to make sure that that was said in the actual audio again, just to wrap that up. And she's also Lavender Moon Spaces on Instagram, at Lavender Moon Spaces on Instagram. So, okay, good. Complete that circuit. Thank you, Ashley and Jessie, so much for being here. It was such a pleasure to have you up together too. Like, I loved this collaboration. I'm so excited for the next things you're bringing into the world. Also, hold on, wait, one last thing. You guys have a thing that you were talking about bringing in, like, both of you are doing a thing.
The collab thing that I posted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay. So it's in the works, but it's going to be a TikTok video. And I'm very excited about it. It came from my brain. And it's like what would you call it, Ashley? It's like a skit. So do you remember when
Jessie's
we did the
a
Bestie
producer?
Weekends?
Yes, Jessie's going to be a
I'm
producer with massively produced. I'm telling you guys right now, the ideas she has are insane, and she's a whole producer. So she has a whole production in her head that she is just finding her people to do and I'm going to be a part of the production. I'm really excited about it.
And I want to do it a bunch of different times, because I think that, like, so it's going to be like my production, and then like Ashley we could each have our own. It kind of has to do with, like, what would you say, Ashley, like your story and how your manifestations came to be, but like how your mind can mess with you. And like you guys were just talking about, like, actually I think Gloria, you said it, like, when it comes to you, it might not look exactly as you thought it would look, but it doesn't mean that it's not right. It doesn't mean that it's not it. You just have to be open to see things differently. So it'll be like a little funny, because I like to be a little silly with it. So yeah, I'm excited. So it would be me and Ashley, and I think Jody is going to be the first, which I'm very excited. But it's in the works. It's in the works.
Love
It's
it.
going to be a video
Pull
basically, but
people
I think it
in.
would be really cute.
Get them together. Get them on.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. That's so fun. Thank you both so much for showing up. Thank you for your presence. And this has been a wonderful conversation. And now,
Thank
my
you.
friends, it is time. It is time to pull up our final beautiful, gorgeous guest speaker for the evening, Amber Humphrey, occupational therapist, Reiki healer, and the owner of Open Door Therapy Pediatrics. So,
Yes.
where are you? Here you are. Add pin. Wonderful. Okay.
Hello. How are you
Amber,
guys?
hi. Welcome to the stage. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for your segment tonight. I know you're going to be guiding us through nervous system regulation, which, given the content,
Yes.
this is so perfectly timed to have nervous system regulation strategies. So I know that you had your segment planned, so this is not an interview.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you the reins and unpin myself here.
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, love you all, ladies. It was wonderful hearing everybody. Gloria, I'm so excited to network with you being in Austin and me in Houston. I'm definitely going to manifest that I end up at one of those dinners because I've got big ideas. Lots of legislative changes that I want to do, as well as creating holistic healing that's more accessible and affordable for people, because I think this is just the way. And so I want to be merging the West with the East and my knowledge base and all the things. And then, of course, Ashley and Jessie, my spiritual besties, met them in Utah and like just immediately felt connected and knew that I was in the right place. And they are the reasons why I create content. Actually, Ashley was the first person who was like, post your content, put it through tears, post your content. And I'm like, okay, I will. And I've gained so much confidence in my voice since starting to, like, when I met these women and then just beyond. It's just been so incredible. So I do have a planned segment. So if you'll kind of, stick with me, enjoy, and we'll be doing some interactive exercises as well. These are strategies that I do not only in my own nervous system, but for my pediatric patients and my family and friends who I've been helping to also regulate their bodies through this entire journey. And I woke up in 2023. So I am a newbie, but it was hard and fast. And I've got all of my clairs, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizant, and clairvoyance. And so it's just been quite a journey to have woken up to all of these gifts out of nowhere. And I'm excited to share my knowledge on both sides of the aisle. So hello, beautiful souls. It's an absolute honor to be here today. My name is Amber Humphrey, as Rome mentioned earlier, and I'm an occupational therapist, a Reiki practitioner, a spiritually awakened soul, and the founder and owner of Open Door Pediatric Therapy. And honestly, I wear many, many hats. I'm a healer, a guide, a mother, a nervous system whisperer, and most recently, someone who is incredibly grateful to be ascending right alongside all of you. So if you would have told me a few years ago that I'd be talking to you about ascension, Reiki, and polyvagal theory, I would have said, sure. Right after I heal my own nervous system, because I have complex PTSD, I have anxiety, I have struggled with all of the big emotions, and spoiler alert, I'm still working on it. But aren't we all? So through my work with children and families, I've witnessed the deep need for emotional regulation in our healing journeys to lead to true healing. Today, I want to show you how the same principle is the missing key in our spiritual evolution, how tuning into our emotions and energy can open a portal to the 5D consciousness, a reality where we heal ourselves and one another with unconditional love, hope, peace, and healing. So how many of us are still learning how to breathe correctly? And now is when you notice that you've been holding your breath all day. All right, so loosen your shoulders. We're going to begin this by taking a deep breath in and then a deep exhalation out, just to kind of get us grounded and started. So if you've gone through a spiritual awakening or you're wondering what the hell is that, a lot of times you're going to start feeling a lot of really big emotions that have been suppressed throughout your life. And that can be really hard to manage, and it can be really hard to process, especially when we have to work and go on our normal everyday life. So again, let's start by taking a big deep breath in and exhaling out. so your body is in a state of rest and digest, and you're ready to learn, listen, and feel and connect with your body. So if you're here today, it means that you've probably felt the call, that inner nudge. Maybe it felt like a gentle breeze, or like me, maybe it felt more like a cosmic 2x4, letting you know that something bigger is happening. You're not just going through a tough time, you're waking up. Congratulations. Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening Club, where the side effects include constant inner reflection, inexplicable amounts of bliss, and random tears in the grocery store. But let's get things serious for a second, because this awakening journey is no small feat. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And it's all happening inside of each of us. Our emotions, our nervous system, our souls are also in constant flux, trying to keep up with this heightened frequency that's been downloaded into our human vessels. So why emotional regulation? Why is this the foundation of ascension? Well, here's where the real magic begins. Emotional regulation is the key term here. And I know it doesn't sound as glamorous as third eye opening or cosmic downloads, but trust me, without a regulated nervous system, you're like a space shuttle trying to launch with loose screws. You might take off, but you're going to feel a little wobbly. So let me introduce you to a wonderful theory called the polyvagal theory, the nervous system cheat sheet. It's a framework created by Dr. Stephen Porges and explains why in times of stress, we either fight, flee, freeze, or in my personal favorite state, fawn, which basically means people pleasing your way out of discomfort. Raise your hand if any of those sound familiar. Me. So the power of emotional regulation as the pathway to ascension. So starting with emotional regulation, we often view it as a tool for stress or trauma. This can be big T trauma or little t trauma. And many of us suffer from daily little t trauma that puts us into a heightened state of hypervigilance and nervous system dysregulation. But what if I told you this was the pathway to enlightenment? Emotional regulation is not just about calming the mind. It's about expanding our awareness. Our emotions are our guides, calling us towards healing, telling us where our soul is ready to release the fear and embracing that love. When we learn to regulate, we're stepping into a new state of consciousness, one that connects us to universal love and divine wisdom. So engaging the vagus nerve. So the solution that we're on the edge of emotional overwhelm that we need to really tap into, whether this be a Kundalini awakening or your child's asking for snacks for the 100th time that day, we're going to enter the vagus nerve. This little bundle of nerves is the longest nerve in the body. It starts at your neck and it goes down your ears, down your throat, dives down into your heart, down through your diaphragm, all the way into your digestive tract. So literally touching your vagus nerve can stimulate it. Might give yourself tingles if you're doing it as well. And we'll work through some exercises later together. So this is our secret weapon to bringing us back into a place of calm and connection. Imagine it as your cosmic on-off switch. You flip it on and you go from stressed out squirrel to serene sage. So through practices like breath work, chanting, and cold exposure, or if you're like me, cold showers lasting only 3 seconds, you can stimulate the vagus nerve and calm your nervous system. One of my favorite tools, humming. Yes, that's right, humming. And not just in your shower where no one can hear you. So we're going to go ahead and give this a try right now. Hum a little tune, take a deep breath in and release the hum. And I'm going to start and demonstrate, and then you can kind of follow along. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. You feel that vibration? That's your nervous system coming online. It's like your soul's way of saying, I'm here. We've got this. I'm ready to learn. So what is 5D consciousness, and how does all of this connect? Well, 5D consciousness is the collective shift from a world of separation into a world of unity. It's the shift from judgment to compassion, from fear to love. Here, time is nonlinear, reality is flexible, and our emotions are more than fleeting feelings. They're frequencies, each carrying a unique message and energy. When we're aligned with these frequencies, we tune in to a collective field where unconditional love and healing become accessible to everyone. In ancient cultures, healing energy, breathwork, and vibrational therapies were the cornerstones of emotional health and spiritual growth. And today, we're rediscovering these tools. They're not necessarily new, but not just as remedies, but as essential practices to unlock higher states of consciousness. Take breathwork, for example. Indigenous wisdom sees the breathwork as a bridge to the spirit. Every breath regulates the nervous system. It clears stagnant energy, and it opens us up to meeting our higher selves. When we consciously engage with our breath, we're doing more than calming down, we're connecting with our divine essence. And I'm additionally, as an occupational therapist, I'm a Reiki practitioner, like we mentioned at the beginning. So how does Reiki and energy work factor into all of this? Well, beyond our physical bodies lies the energetic field, your auric field. This is where Reiki comes in. Reiki is energy healing that I like to think of as soul level nervous system healing. And when I discovered Reiki, it felt like plugging into the energetic charger I didn't even know I had. Our energy fields pick up so much in the spiritual awakening process: trauma, ancestral patterns, limiting beliefs, and Reiki is a gentle, loving way to clear those blockages. Sometimes when you walk through a room, especially if you're an awakened soul, you can feel someone's energy. You can walk into a room and know that something is off. That is that invisible force field. It's a palpable sensation. And the more we acknowledge that it's real and not woo-woo, the more you'll actually find homeostasis and growth spiritually, because you know you can tap into something higher than yourself. So Reiki is more than just a healing methodology. It's an act of surrender. By connecting with universal life force energy, we're aligning with a frequency that vibrates at pure love. This alignment dissolves fears, anxieties, and traumas, energies that hold us back from accessing our full potential. And through this practice, we allow our heart to become the center of our being. And here's where things get exciting. I truly believe that we're living in a time, the age of Aquarius, where East meets West, where ancient practices like yoga, meditation, Reiki, and sound healing can work alongside Western medical frameworks like polyvagal theory and neuroscience. These are not separate paths, they are complementary. And when they come together, they form this beautiful holistic toolkit for ascension. So think of yourself as a craftsman or craftswoman, assembling your personal healing toolbox. You've got your breath work from the East and the polyvagal cues from the West. And somewhere in there, you've got a singing bowl or two, maybe a crystal or three. I know I have like 4,000. My husband's like, how many crystals can one person have? What is it? The limit does not exist. So if I can share one key to spiritual awakening, it's this. The heart of the ascension process is not out there, some mystical realm. It's right here. It's our ability to feel, process, and release our emotions. Emotional regulation brings us back to the present moment, the only place where healing and transformation happen. When we learn to honor our feelings, even the painful ones, we're creating space for the divine. Every regulated emotion is a doorway to higher consciousness. When we tap into this power, we're not just healing ourselves, we're healing the collective, which is what we came here to do. So let's make this practical. What can you do today to help your nervous system heal and elevate your spiritual journey? So I've got a few different strategies. Some are actual exercises, others are just some tips, but we're going to start with some breath work. And today we're going to try the 4-7-8 breathing. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and then exhale for 8. This not only calms your body, but it also sends a signal to your brain that you're safe and everything is going to be okay. So let's do 3 of these just to kind of feel grounded. You're going to take a deep breath in for 4, and I'll just kind of like count over here and I'll breathe with you. So ready? Deep breath in. Hold it for 7 seconds. Exhale for 8. All right, we're going to do that 2 more times. Take a deep breath in. Hold for 7. Breathe out for 8. Last time, breathe in for 4. Hold 7. Out for 8. You should start feeling that your mind is calming down, the racing thoughts that might have been there, thinking about all of the to-dos for the day have quieted your mind. This is step 1 of getting into that mindfulness piece, is being at one with your breath, at one with your body. This takes me to the next strategy, and this is the Reiki self-practice. You don't necessarily have to be a Reiki practitioner. Now, you can get trained in Reiki and become a Reiki master. I'm in training for being Reiki master, but I'm level 1 and 2 trained. And Reiki exists in every person. It's all about attuning and activating this energy. We are all magical beings. We're superhumans. We just don't even know it yet. But you can also do heart coherence breathing, similar to the Reiki self-practice. So you're going to place your hand over your heart. Another over your solar plexus or your belly, where, your hand is kind of right over your belly button. And you're just going to breathe into this energy. You're going to let it in, the Reiki flow into you. And you can do this daily to support your emotional release and nervous system regulation. As you breathe, I want you to focus on something or someone that you're grateful for and letting that feeling expand in your chest. So let's sit here for a moment and think of gratitude. How did you get here? Why are you so grateful that you're, enjoying this conversation with me today? What are you looking forward to this week? There's always blessings in our lives. We just have to pause and find the time to reflect. I'm grateful for each of you, and I'm grateful for my spiritual awakening journey, and I'm grateful that I found God, because without it, I would never know this peace. I'd still be spinning and unraveling as a human, trying to find something to fill up the void. The next thing that's going to be very, very important for you when you're going through a spiritual awakening journey is grounding. You can get very ethereal. You can get very much in the crown chakra, but you really do need to root it back down and be one with nature. I love doing this through being barefoot in the grass, sitting in the grass every single day, sitting next to a tree, just talking to spirit, talking to my guides, talking to myself, clearing my day. And I know that we're stepping into fall and into winter, and the snow is going to probably start falling. So there's always grounding sheets and grounding mats, Epsom salt baths, and holy showers for me. My poor water bill, because I love a good holy shower. We're just rinsing away the day, grounding that energy in, and making that time to be present in the moment. Another one that we're going to do, it's an exercise. It's called butterfly hugs, is what I call it for my patients. And butterfly hugs are soothing self-regulation technique where you're going to cross your arms over your chest and you're going to gently tap alternately on each shoulder. So this rhythmic tapping stimulates both sides of your brain, calming the nervous system and reducing stress or anxiety. It's a simple grounding practice that you can use anytime to bring comfort or emotional stability. And my patients, we usually do this for about a minute. So we'll just kind of sit here, and when you're doing it, make sure you're breathing, not holding your breath. So take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And I always like to tell my patients, you are safe, you are loved, you are safe, you are loved. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Nothing is wrong. Everything is as it should be at all times. You are divinely protected, and you are meant for great things. Never, ever give up on yourself. So the next thing we're going to do is called fear paralysis tapping. Similar but different. I use this one every single day with my patients. I had to speak on stage on Saturday at an international conference here in Houston, and I was very nervous because I was unscripted, just getting up there and talking. And you could just see me walking around doing taps. I'm like, don't mind me, I'm just doing taps. So I'm going to teach you. You're going to put your hand on your sternum right here. And the fear paralysis reflex is an infant primitive reflex. And so we're going to go cha, 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 cha with the other hand that's on top. This reflex is often unintegrated, which can lead to feelings of fear, anxiousness around sensory stimulation, such as noises, touch, and visual input. Tapping is a gentle technique designed to help release this fear paralysis reflex, which is often associated with anxiety, freeze response, and chronic stress. And this reflex, when unintegrated, can lead us to feeling stuck or overwhelmed. And tapping in the specific areas in the body can help to soothe this reflex, allowing the nervous system to feel safe and grounded. So the sternum is one of the spots that you can do. The side of the head above the ears is another spot. So it's always just going to be that cha, 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 cha. And you can do it 8 times as an adult. And there's on the top of the head, which is right where the crown chakra is. Cha, cha, cha. This is different than the emotional freedom tapping technique. Similar but different. The belief system is still that you're releasing the stored up energy that lives within the meridians, the invisible energy lines within our own bodies. And so I've seen a lot of kiddos move through high stress environments, high stress situations by using this tapping. And I saw Gloria just yawn. And so yawning is actually a sign that the vagus vagus nerve was stimulated as well through all these things that we've been doing, all of the breathing that we've been doing, and showing that your body is now getting into a relaxed rest and digest state. So yawning is very, very powerful when you're working on nervous system regulation. So stepping into the polyvagal theory more, like, oh, Rome went really good. That was, I saw that yawn. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's when you know that it hit the brain. You really know that you've cleared it out. So peace fingers, you're gonna have your fingers like this. I'm gonna come a little bit closer, and you're gonna go on either side of your neck and your ear, and you're going to be stroking up and down. Just on your side, I do this, and you can do the same thing, deep breathing. And everything that you're trying to feel is just sensations of feeling safe in your body. Safe. I am safe. I am safe. Oftentimes we just don't feel safe. We don't feel safe to feel. We definitely don't feel safe to heal. And so taking this time, you can do in the car, you can do in the bathroom. Find your 1 minute. Find your 1 minute a day. The next vagus nerve stimulation that we're going to do, again, the ear is where this vagus nerve innervates a lot. So you're going to get your little fingers, your little pincher fingers, and you're going to give ear circles, starting from the top of your earlobes, down the middle, and going to the bottom. These are very simple things that you can do. You don't need necessarily a therapist to be doing them on you. Once you can have strategies and tools that actually help you regulate your own nervous system, then you kind of just have your own little toolkit. I see lots of yawning. This is a really, really good thing to be doing if you're ever feeling really stressed out. I do it like 10 times a day with every patient, so I'm getting more regulated the more I'm doing it. All right, and the next one that we're going to do, I saw some of you doing it earlier when I first started talking about the vagus nerve, was you instinctively started stroking your neck. And so think about when you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, like, what do we do? We're like, oh my gosh. Well, you're innately and intuitively regulating yourself. So it just feels really good. I get chills every time I'm stroking my neck. And so you can stroke down the back of your neck, you can stroke the front of your neck. And one of the most helpful strategies with vagus nerve that I find gets me out of panic, because I suffered from panic attacks and panic disorder before, and I know a lot of people have, is I want you to use ice. So you can use ice water. Drinking ice water is a great on-the-go tool, or you can put something cold on your chest. Right over here is where I like to put it, kind of on my left side of my chest. And I'll just take some deep breaths. I've gotten out of a panic attack within 2 to 3 minutes if I'm using cold ice on my chest. My daughter does it. She's 5. It's her one tool she's able to access. Sometimes she can't get into that cognitive state of being able to reason. So she's just like, give me ice. So ice is another really great strategy. And the last technique of the day is laughter and joy. Don't forget to have fun. Spiritual awakening is not just about shadow work and crying on your yoga mat. Bring joy into your journey. Dancing and laughing and playing as you heal is the key to life. Occupation for kids is their play, but I don't know why we don't continue playing when we're adults. We're just grown-up kids. And the play component is going to be really, really, really important. And laughter stimulates the vagus nerve as well. So in 5D consciousness, we recognize that our energy affects everyone around us. And when you elevate your own consciousness, you create a ripple effect, raising the vibrations of those you touch. Healing becomes a shared experience, a collective awakening that builds a brighter reality for all. Imagine a world where each of us lives in harmony with our emotions, healing our wounds, and transforming pain into love. This is the world we're building together, a world of unity, compassion, and peace. So I invite you today to join me in creating a collective movement, a movement where we honor each other, support each other, and love each other through our own awakenings. Let us be the light bearers of our new world, embracing our emotional and spiritual wholeness as one. Namaste, and I'll see you on the other side, wherever that may be.
Oh my gosh. You saw me. You saw how much I yawned. I'm gonna just hop up here with you for a second. Hold on.
Thank you. I know, it's magic, right? The yawning, you feel safe
Phenomenal.
now.
Literally, and it's so funny because I had so many of those strategies, and then the ones that, like, this one really got me. This particular
The
tapping
tapping.
pattern got me so deep. What was it called? The fear
Paralysis reflex.
paralysis reflex. Yeah, that was like one of the ones I didn't know. And then this one, which
The peace fingers. Yeah.
oh, and the ear one too. Like, I'd done the ear thing before, but like I really got deep with it. That what a
You
good
feel
way to
good, right?
I'm so grateful. Where can people find you? How can they work with you, etc.?
So I'm on TikTok. That's where I do this version of myself. I feel like I have two versions of Amber. Amber in the real world, 3D world. I'm Open Door Pediatric Therapy. www.opendoorpt.com is my website. And that's where we treat our pediatric patients. But I also have my TikTok, which is Amberella_2012, where I talk about channeled messages. I talk about spiritual healing, emotional regulation through a spiritual awakening journey. And my Instagram is also Amberella2012, no underscore. And I'm starting to be bold and like sharing my stuff on my real, like, here I am Facebook, here I am Instagram. You people know me in my real world. So that's where you can find me for now. I'm trying to create something branding for myself, but I haven't made it that far just yet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your strategies and expertise like that.
Thank
That
you.
was phenomenal. I'm so excited to take the tools with me now. They're in my toolbox and everything. And like,
And I shared a handout with you. I'm not sure if it's a PDF that can be
Mhm.
sent out. I didn't know how to share that.
Yes, I dropped it in the chat.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
8 strategies to regulate nervous system during spiritual awakening. And that
Perfect.
is the gift that Amber has given everyone today. And it will be in the recap email as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
And
guys. Thank you. There's my daughter.
hi, daughter.
There's Hazel. There's Hazel.
Hi, Hazel. Oh my goodness. That was phenomenal.
I'm so glad you did it.
I'm so happy. We are at 7:33. I'm gonna wrap this beautiful call up. Thank you to the speakers. I'm gonna close with a poem because that's what I've been doing, and I really enjoy doing that. Let me I had it playing in my head about which one I'm gonna share. This is one I wrote recently. Okay, great. Also, yeah, I want to also, just because anyone watching the recordings, I want to share real quick that number one, connect with all the speakers, follow them on all the things. All their links will be in the description of wherever this video is posted, and it will be in a separate handout. And also mentioning that I am offering a program and I'm really excited about it. I'm actually offering 2 programs because I had to listen to my calling this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh, I have to offer this. I get to offer this. But so bring your next creation into reality. I've spent the last several years working with beautiful people to help them generate all sorts of wonderful things, from more income to healing to repairing their relationships with themselves, their body, and time and everything. And on November 26th, Creation Manifestation begins. It's a 3-month course. And I'm excited to take people through 12 live classes, 10 energy attunement meditations to be used, everyday strategy and container for you to work on your stuff every single day. I have all these templates so that you can rebuild yourself, structure your new life. And the thing that woke me up this morning was the recognition that people are desiring to develop their psychic abilities. And as I mentioned earlier, this is something I've been developing for 30 years now. And this is the course. It's a simple course, and yet it's designed so that even if you've been practicing with your psychic abilities, you're going to go so deep. That's the repeated feedback I receive, is that people who have taken psychic development before, people who've been professionals for years, always say to me, I thought I knew. I thought I knew it. I thought I knew it all. And they hadn't met me. So if you're interested in this, please fill out a little appointment. Come meet with me. It's a 40-minute visioning session to determine what your next aligned action is. But whether that's hopping into a program with me, hooking up with a different person, whatever it is, we're going to get to it so quickly. And yeah, you get to be your favorite version of you. And now on to this poem that I wrote. Again, thank you to all the speakers. I really wildly appreciate each and every one of you. Everything that was communicated today was so inspiring, so bold, so brilliant, and life-changing. Thank you. Okay. Too late to be a philosopher that's naming all the stars. Now I'm a philosopher that's singing in a bar where everyone I meet, it seems, compares their battle scars, and singers on the stage up here remind us life is art. I wish I had a policy of following my plans. I wish I hadn't said goodbye to some of my friends. I wish I had a moment to tell you I understand. Sometimes love and loss in the abyss are holding hands. I wish I had a way to say exactly how I feel, 100,000 words, and I still make up what's real. I decide my truth and create a space of health. I know what the secret is. My words project my wealth. I wish to see a world where everyone is well. People work in harmony and tell you life is swell. Unified in empathy, the earth is always healed. My heart is open and direct. I'll tell you what I feel. I feel a world that's coming in where you get to decide, choosing how we operate the shadows and the light, one harmonic symphony. And here I'm keeping time. I'm sounding a soliloquy with purpose to remind. You already know to be a neighbor and a friend. You remember well how to extend a hand. You remember now to ask when you need some help. When I get to give to you, my heart does really swell. I wish I didn't fall in love with everyone I meet. I'm learning to give up and let some words repeat. Remember to appreciate myself from head to feet. I'm opening my heart to show the places where I beat. I'd rather be an optimist and see things going well. I tried to be a pessimist and life reflected hell. Sarcastic causal body took the brunt of all my spells. So now I'm careful with my words. I cast myself as well. The sentences I speak are sentencing myself to witness in the playback all the places where I've dealt. My cells store all the memories, so I change them up. Revise anything I wish, because we are never stuck. If a memory is preventing you from doing anything, it's time to shine a light on it and hear the song it sings. If it's out of line with the way you want to be, tune it to another note that jives with harmony. Thank you guys so much. This has been a beautiful evening. And same, yay. Love it. Oh, hold on. Can I put everyone on and we'll take a little screenshot of that? It's Command-Shift-3, right? Hold on, wait. You guys have to do it while I hit this. I'm gonna make I think that's it. Eee! Oh, where did I go? Oh, I'm learning things. Command-Shift-3. Okay. Oh my God. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful. All right. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And whoever's watching the recordings, catch the rest of it.